The moment the screen refreshed, my heartbeat forgot how to behave. The office lights hummed like they always did. The coffee machine sputtered like it hated mornings, and the rain traced thin scars down the glass walls of the 32nd floor. Nothing had changed, except everything had. I had been hired to organize calendars and polish presentations, to keep my head down and my feelings locked away. Instead, one careless swipe cracked open a life I had spent years keeping neatly folded. If you believe in kindness, in quiet courage, and in the idea that second chances sometimes arrive disguised as ordinary moments, take a second to like this video, share it with someone who needs hope today, comment your thoughts, and subscribe to the channel. Your support keeps stories like this alive. I was 32, a junior executive assistant at a mid-sized publishing company in Boston, still paying off student loans and still pretending I was fine with the way my life had stalled. My boss, Elizabeth Carter, was 41 and carried herself like someone who had learned to survive storms without an umbrella. She had kind eyes that didn't always get used, and a voice that had learned to be firm because softness had once cost her dearly. People whispered about her efficiency, her sharp deadlines, her immaculate blazers. They did not whisper about her loneliness, but it lived there all the same, in the way she ate lunch at her desk and left the office late to avoid going home to silence. The idea of a dating profile started as a joke on a Friday afternoon when the office thinned out and the rain refused to stop. Elizabeth had been staring at a photo frame on her desk, not of a person but of a place, a lighthouse on the Maine coast, and she said she was tired of pretending she didn't want someone to share quiet things with. She said it like an observation, not a plea. I offered to help because helping was what I did, and because it felt safer than admitting I understood her too. Well, we sat side by side at her desk after hours, the city dimming beyond the windows. I typed while she thought, choosing words that sounded like her on her best day. We kept it simple. Faith mattered to her, not loudly but deeply, the way Sunday hymns lingered long after church doors closed. She wanted honesty, warmth, and someone who believed that kindness wasn't weakness. When it came time to choose photos, we avoided anything flashy. A smile in natural light, a candid shot from a charity book drive. The lighthouse made it in too, because hope should be visible. I created the account, helped her navigate filters, and explained the strange mathematics of swipes. We laughed at some profiles, sighed at others. It felt harmless, almost wholesome, like two people admitting they were tired of being brave alone. When I left that night, the rain had softened, and I walked home thinking about how good it felt to do something that mattered to someone else. The following Monday, the office was brighter, or maybe I was paying attention. Elizabeth seemed lighter too, though she kept her professional armor intact. She asked me to check the app once in a while just to make sure she wasn't missing anything obvious. I agreed because that was my job, and because the line between assistant and accomplice had already blurred. The match happened on a Wednesday, late afternoon, when deadlines piled up and my phone buzzed with a notification I wasn't expecting. The profile photo looked familiar in a way that made my stomach tilt. Same uneven smile I saw in the mirror every morning. Same scar near the eyebrow from a childhood bike crash. Same city, same age bracket, same values, same quiet faith. The algorithm had done its work too well. I sat frozen, aware of the absurdity of the situation and the gravity of it at the same time. I had not been browsing for myself in months. Dating felt like a language I had forgotten how to speak. The app had been opened for Elizabeth, not me. And yet, there it was, undeniable, a match between my boss and the person I had spent years trying to convince myself was unremarkable. Elizabeth noticed the change in my posture before I said anything. She leaned over, curious, and saw the screen. For a second, she simply looked, as if recognizing a melody she had heard before but couldn't place. Then she smiled, small and surprised, the kind of smile that doesn't ask permission. She asked me to accept it, not as an order, but as a request weighted with trust. I went home that night carrying a secret heavier than any work file. I thought about the power, dynamics, the rules, the ways this could go wrong. I thought about how long it had been since someone had looked at me like possibility instead of background noise. Sleep didn't come easily. When it did, it was filled with images of lighthouses and storms, and two people standing on opposite sides of a line neither had drawn. The days that followed were a careful dance. At work, nothing changed on paper. We kept meetings efficient, conversations professional. Beneath that, something delicate was growing, something neither of us named. We agreed to be slow, to respect boundaries, to let trust set the pace. It was not dramatic. It was quiet and steady, like learning to breathe again after holding your breath for too long. Challenges came, as they always do. Rumors found their way into corners. A colleague made a careless comment. HR policies loomed like caution signs on a winding road. I wrestled with my own doubts, with the fear of being seen as opportunistic, with the old belief that people, like me, were meant to support, not to be chosen. Elizabeth faced her own ghosts, memories of a marriage that had ended not with betrayal but with exhaustion, two good people failing to meet in the middle. What surprised me most was how we handled the hard parts. We talked without turning conversations into weapons. We apologized quickly. We chose honesty even when it was uncomfortable. Sundays became something to look forward to, not because of grand gestures, but because we learned how to share quiet routines. Church pews, shared meals, long walks where the city felt less crowded and more like a place you could build something in. The turning point came months later, when a promotion opportunity opened up that would place me directly under Elizabeth's leadership in a more visible way. We could have hidden, waited, hoped it would resolve itself. Instead, we chose transparency. We disclosed what mattered, stepped back where necessary, and trusted the process to be fair. It cost us convenience, but it bought us integrity. Through it all, the lighthouse photo remained on her desk. One evening, as the sun dipped low and the office emptied, I realized it was no longer just a symbol of solitude. It had become a marker of arrival, not because everything was perfect, but because we had learned to navigate together. If this story has reached you in a tender place, if it reminds you that timing matters and courage is often quiet, please take a moment to like this video, share it with someone who needs reassurance, and subscribe to the channel. Your engagement tells us these stories matter. Before the ending, I have a special request for you. Comment below with one word that represents hope to you. Your words might be the lighthouse someone else is looking for. In the end, what stayed with me wasn't the surprise of the match or the risk we took. It was the realization that helping someone else open a door can sometimes open one for you too. That professionalism and humanity don't have to be enemies. That faith can be a bridge rather than a wall. Elizabeth and I didn't fall into a fairy tale. We built something real, brick by careful brick, choosing kindness when it would have been easier to retreat. The office still hums, the coffee machine still sputters, rain still paints the windows, but there is warmth where there was once only efficiency, and a future, where there used to be a carefully managed present. If this story touched your heart, please engage with it now. Your support helps keep these moments alive, and reminds us all that sometimes the right match arrives when we are brave enough to accept it.